Welcome to Drum Talk. Today we're going to be talking about hi-hat Lope, and I'm going to use some of my recent drum covers as an opportunity to kind of talk about how I approach playing the hi-hat in these tunes. Now, one thing I want you guys all to see is that I always try to get the kick and the snare up in the mix in these kind of funk rock tunes, and the hi-hat's always a little bit less. Alright, so first one is a Vineyard tune called Hungry. And when I come out of the roll, I go into kind of a closed hat thing, which opens up periodically. Notice I'm not just playing with the tip of the stick, but I'm doing a tip to the shoulder of the stick kind of motion. Right in that tip to shoulder is where you get that kind of meaty sound on the side of the hi-hat. And that's what I'm approaching here, is trying to get that meaty, closed sound. Now, another thing I do on this tune is I actually open it up, and I'm playing the ride cymbal part. A lot of guys will go to the ride cymbal here, playing it on the hi-hat, and I'm really opening up the hi-hat and getting that sloshy cymbal thing. Then I tighten it right back down. This next song is a classic John Lennon tune, and I'm showing you that you don't have to always play with drumsticks. You can play with other things. Now, I was using mallets to get the rolly effects on the cymbals, and I just stayed with it. But the way I'm hitting that part of the hi-hat, that first 2 inches from the edge of the hi-hat cymbal with the mallet, is getting the effect of the shoulder of the stick laying into the hi-hat. Also, there's a slight openness to my foot. Very slight. It's not washy open, but it's not tight. That way I'm getting that effect of really like you could bring out the sound of the hi-hat. Okay, this is from one of my lessons about, this is my two-handed triplet shuffle. And this is a pattern I picked up off of a Rippingtons album, a song called Aspen. And to really get that effect, it's all shoulder of the stick laying into the side, and every once in a while I go to the tip on the right hand to kind of bring out the little 30-second note part I'm pulling out. Again, it's mostly a closed hat, but it's not super closed, it's mostly closed. Alright, this song's called, from a band called PB Underground. I forget the name of it. I think it's called Cybernet Situation. This is pure funk. When I'm playing pure funk, I am laying tip and shoulder, and I'm mixing it back and forth. Whenever I'm opening up that, getting a little quick opens, I'm into the shoulder. Sometimes I'm riding 16th notes and it's shoulder tip, depending how I'm going with it. Little bites, little 16-note bites. Very cool song, and it is all about the lope on that hat that makes that groove happen. Alright, Californication by Red Hot Chili Peppers. Chad Smith's a very funky dude. I was trying to imbibe Chad Smith here with some funk. It's tip, shoulder of the stick. It's both. Let's watch it a little bit here. Whenever I'm doing those little opens, it's always shoulder of the stick. Back to Cybernet Situation. It's the ending part. It's driving. One of the cool things I'm doing on this is I'm kind of laying into the one, that section, on opening up the ones. So I'm on the downbeats, opening up the 1, 2, 3, and 4. That's what I'm kind of doing. Now it's getting a little bit broken up here, but I think it's a little bit of Gad coming in here. Steve Gadd's got an awesome Lope to playing a hi-hat. And my little solo here. The next one is a classic rock favorite. Norman Greenbaum's Spirit in the Sky. A lot of opening and shuffling off the hat. Slightly open too. Now I'm doing the ride cycle. Now, if I was going to go the hat here, it would be a sloshy hat. Classic shoulder of the stick, laying into the hi-hat, and doing a pretty closed rock shuffle here. I'm actually thinking of the Bad Company tune, Can't Get Enough of Your Love. The Doobie Brothers classic China Grove. Closed hat with little opens. It's all shoulder of the stick on the hat. Really kind of laying into it. Classic Phil. Jackson 5, Motown. Motown drummers like to use a combination of tip and shoulder. There was a guy in college who came to do a drum clinic for us named Jim Danella, and he went into this whole thing about how R&B drummers kind of played with that multiple tip shank thing, and a lot of rock drummers at the time in the 60s would play more with the tip of the stick on the hi-hat to get that closed thing. I think today, you know, I kind of play with a funky kind of style, so funk's my thing. It's me doing men at work here. Sorry about the hi-hat leaving you there, but it was kind of a fun little groove I did on that, wasn't it? But definitely a tight hi-hat groove here. And I'm doing that upbeat Lope. Again, that's what I'm talking about in grooves. It's about those little accents. He Won't Go. This is an Adele tune. This is extremely about the up and down lope of my hi-hat here. It's not just the tip of the stick, but it's the tip and the shoulder, tip and the shoulder. Perfect kind of groove for tip shoulder with the slight opens every once in a while. All right, Sissy Strut, the meters. Open-handed left and right hat. It's not completely closed, it's slightly open sometimes tight, depending on how much pressure I'm putting on my foot. Very funky Lope, two-handed. It's kind of like a smooth jazz thing that I found out there on the internet. This is a lot of tip, but I'm still up and down with the Lope. And every once in a while I'll put a little shoulder on the hat to give it that kind of up and down Lope. Stevie Wonder, Superstition, my version. This is just pure driving R&B funk. The way I'm playing that bell of the cymbal is very similar how I approach the hi-hat too. Tip and shoulder. Now Now this does go into the hi-hat part in a second here. Again, up and down, Lope hi-hat. That's what makes this groove. If I was just playing, even just playing a dot 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 16 note thing, it would not be as cool as really getting that Lope feeling on the hi-hat. Just like I'm doing with the ride cymbal here. I'm tip, shoulder into the bell. Now this is your classic rock tip. It's a British band, yes. But I'm pretty darn sure I lay into it a little bit like I normally would. And I'm doing those barks. It's definitely shoulder there. Now this is me, the other part of the tune, where I'm kind of laying into it like riding opened up hi-hat. Earth, Wind and Fire, classic funk. Yes, a lot of shoulder here. Anyhow, that's a little bit of me playing open, close, shoulder of the stick, tip of the stick, and getting that hi-hat lope. I hope this is helpful to some of you guys. I appreciate you watching. Thanks again. It's always great to kind of share some of my techniques a little bit with the drumming community. You guys have a great day and enjoy. Bye.